slipping away, sitting on a pillow, waiting for night to fall. Girl in her dream, sitting on a pillow. This is the night, including a celebrity ball.
Hello, my name is Dennis Lee Bush, and I want to welcome you to my magic studio. Every so often you may hear a little cooing sound or a couple cooing sounds from my doves that are located over in the corner of my magic shop here. First of all, I want to thank you for taking a few minutes of your time to learn more about this show I'm currently working on called Celebrate, a whimsical love story told through the magic and the music of Three Dog Night. Now I'm going to take a pause right now because I know you're having a reaction, and it's one of two things. It may be something like, oh, Three Dog Night, oh my God, I love that band. I love their songs. Oh my God, you're going to do a show about Three Dog Night? Oh my God, this is going to be a great show. Okay. Or your reaction is something like, Three Dog Night, ooh, it's a band? Ooh, and what songs did they make famous, and who's in the band? Well, I'm going to tell you that you do know the band and you do know the songs, you just don't realize it as of yet. Now, this is a picture from 1972, and this is the band Three Dog Night. And this is a picture of the band Three Dog Night in 2022. Yes, Three Dog Night is out doing live concerts even to this day. Now, Three Dog Night, the band, has been on every single music chart out there. Top 10 hits. It's just been an incredible ride for this band, Three Dog Night. So, what is Celebrate? I use 20 songs from a variety of songwriters, but made popular by the band Three Dog Night, combined with never-before-seen mesmerizing magic illusions and special effects, all told through a somewhat peculiar yet funny love story. How I do this is sequencing the songs in a very specific order to help tell the story. Then I add in dialogue. Yes, there's a book to this musical, and the dialogue helps to provide clarity to the characters and add humor to the story. I then add in magic and illusions and special effects into every song to bring mystery and fun to the story. And then I use different forms of dance, interpretive dance, when it supports the song and the storyline. My favorite song is Sure As I'm Sitting Here. The cast sing and they do a tap dance routine while sitting on. So before I get into some of the details of Celebrate, I want to give you a little history. Yeah, that's me. I think I was 11 years old doing a magic show in my hometown. I also played the trumpet and the saxophone and also was a ventriloquist. From 1966 to 1972, I performed on the Steel Pier in Atlantic City, and I also had the opportunity on the Steel Pier to perform in the music hall with top name performers like the Supremes, Frank Sinatra Jr., just to name a few. So this is this is me. I'm on the Ted Mack Show, and I was 17 years old performing magic. And you can see my stage name, Houdini. Again, Dennis, nickname Denny, Houdini. Okay, that was my mom's doing. From that, I had the opportunity to perform with Melbourne Christopher, a world-famous magician. This was taken backstage at Madison Square Garden after one of our performances. Now, one thing that Melbourne Christopher was to me, other than a mentor, was a guide. And I really looked up to him, not only as a magician, but also as just a really nice and decent human being. And as a mentor, one of the things he said to me was, you know, if you want to be in entertainment and want to do magic, that's fine, but do me a favor. You're 17. Go off to college. You might find another path that suits you better. And so that's what I did. I went off to college and ended up going from magic into medicine. Yeah, that's me in my my doctor outfit there. I did pediatrics for a while, went back to school, got my master's, PhD, and from that I was basically in leadership roles in large health systems in the Philadelphia, New Jersey area for over 40 years. But I never lost the passion for magic, and this is from the Magic Show from 1972, starring Doug Henning, a young Canadian magician. And he really set the fire for a lot of young magicians during that time and really brought a revival back to magic. This show, the music and lyrics were written by Stephen Schwartz. Now you may know him from Broadway shows like Pippin and Godspell. And so fast forward 27 years later, and I decided I wanted to do a revival of the Magic Show. So I contacted Stephen, we talked for a little bit, and then we started working. And I actually rewrote the book to the show, and also changed some of the songs. And it was really a fun experience. 95% there. I show up at Stephen's place in New York to do some more work on the revival. And he answers the door with a puzzled look on his face. And I said, "What's up?" And he said, "I have to stop working on this show because I just signed a deal. I need to work on this show called Wicked." And I said, "Stephen, Wicked? Like, what's this about?" And he said, "Oh, it's the prequel to The Wizard of Oz." And I said, "Oh my God, are you kidding me? I don't think anybody's going to want to see that." Ha ha, later, right? I was wrong. Anyway, I still wanted to do some work with Stephen's songs, and he really never had a signature review. So I thought, let me get all his songs, and you can see them here from Children of Eden, Pippin, Godspell, you name it. I had every single song. I listened to them. I put them on a spreadsheet. I tried to figure out what songs would make sense for a very thin storyline because this was a music review. And what we ended up with was a show called Magic in the Music. And what made the show so unique is that I not only brought in the magic, but I trained all of the cast members how to perform the magic. And in most cases, they were doing magic and singing and dancing all at the same time. And I'm going to show you a little clip of, this is a song called Charmin's Lament, and Charmin is getting cut in half. She's getting sawed in half. And I want you to watch and kind of listen. It's a short clip. And you can kind of see how the singer is actually singing while she's getting cut in half. Okay, welcome back. So hopefully you enjoyed that very fast clip of Magic in the Music. So after we did the 18 performances at the Ritz, very successful and a lot of great feedback, went back to the drawing board and did some revisions to the show. I actually put some songs from Wicked into the show as well. And the other thing that I added was bridging dialogue. So a few sentences between each song to, kind of again help the character descriptions and things of that nature, and help move the story along. And we ended up doing an equity production at the Surflight Theater in Long Beach Island. And again, you can see some of these pictures were pretty unique. After the Surflight, again, back to the drawing board, brought in Gabe Berry, Broadway director, and Mark Hartman, who worked on Avenue Q as a music director, and made a bunch of revisions. In 2015, Princess Cruise Lines came along and wanted to do a Broadway-style show, a new show, and approached Stephen, and of course took Magic in the Music off the shelf, retooled it into a 70-minute cruise ship style show. Same concept, singing and dancing and magic with a very thin storyline. And so what I'm going to do now is take a quick break here and show you the Princess Cruise Line promo for Magic to Do. Welcome back. Hopefully by now you get an idea of this concept of combining magic and music. This is a picture of me and my wife, July 26th of 2019. Why is that significant? Well, for two reasons. One is it was my birthday and she surprised me. 2 tickets to see my favorite band, Three Dog Night. And yeah, you can hear them playing now. I'm watching and listening to these songs, enjoying the show, but thinking to myself, man, I think I could make a show out of these songs. So I decided I was going to try and replicate the commercial success of Magic to Do and Magic in the Music. And to do that, I listened to every Three Dog Night song ever recorded out there. And I spent 4 weeks, 5 weeks just listening to every song, listening for potential character names like Elton John and Bernie Taupin did a song called Lady Samantha that was recorded by Three Dog Night. Of course, there's a character in this show, Celebrate, Lady Samantha. And of course there's Jeremiah was a bullfrog. Yes, there is Jeremiah. He's a character in this show as well. And of course Eli's coming. He too is a character. So listening to the songs helped me build a good story and then develop some new ideas regarding magic that could be placed within this story. So 6 weeks after I started, the day after the concert, I had a pitch together. I met with Danny Hutton after a Three Dog Night concert at the American Music Theater in Lancaster on September the 22nd, 2019. And he loved the ideas, thought it was great, and so off to work I went, refined some things, and within 3 weeks I was out in LA at Danny's house and his studio, and we listened to some new songs coming from their upcoming Three Dog Night album. And actually I took 3 songs off of this album to put into this show. From that, I was off and running, and I'm telling you, the only probably upside to COVID, because now we're in 2020 and into 2021, was not much happening, and so quiet time working on the script, working on dialogue, a lot of Zoom calls, a lot of Zoom meetings, and you can see the drafts, tons of them. That's one box I just threw on the bed to take a picture of, so a lot of drafts. So I want to spend some time talking about the cast and the story. So I'm going to have my friend go through each of the main characters in this show, and by describing the characters, at the same time she's going to give you a general idea of their role within the story as well.
Kendra is our story's 30-something protagonist who can't figure out where her relationship with her boyfriend Zach is headed. She accuses him of lying in an intense, magic-ridden song, Liar. She sings as to why Zach is so cold to her, since all she wants from him is to be her lover and a friend in the song, Easy to Be Hard. She produces a massive snowstorm from her bare hands that mysteriously turns Zach into an ice statue. With the help of Lady Samantha, she sings about her colorful feelings of lost love in the song, Till the World Ends. She finds her true love when she falls for Jeremiah, as they both sing an old-fashioned love song. To complete her journey, Lady Samantha encourages Kendra to give Jeremiah a kiss when she says, "You have to kiss a lot of frogs to find your prince." When Kendra kisses him, everyone expects Jeremiah to turn into a handsome prince, but something astonishing occurs when it is Kendra who is changed into a frog, and a beautiful one at that. In the end, Kendra makes her appearance at the celebrity ball with her handsome and everlasting love, Jeremiah. Samantha, Lady Samtini, prior to our story, was known as Samantha, a famous magician and owner of the Magistique Theater. Eli meets Samantha after one of her fabulous magic shows. Over time, she and Eli put together a wonderful magic show. She performed her magic as Lady Samtini and Eli as the Amazing Elyon. They performed before sold-out audiences. Their relationship grew and eventually fell in love. During a performance of a dangerous illusion, Hell's Firespiker, she and Eli meet their demise. God returns her as Lady Samantha, the Angel of Joy. She becomes the guardian of our story, which is apparent when she sings Joy to the World. Her goal is to help troubled young people who are struggling with finding joy, happiness, and love. She is in command of 20 magical angels who, through the songs they sing, the dances they dance, and magic they perform, help Kendra find her true love. Eli, the Amazing Elyon, is one of God's proteges. However, there is a backstory. Eli was an up-and-coming magician. He was booked for a one-week stint at the Magistique Theater. There he meets a beautiful young magician, Samantha, the owner of the theater. To impress her, he devises a mentalist routine so amazing he is quickly named the world's most accomplished magician, performing as the Amazing Elyon. Over time, he and Samantha fall in love. During a newly designed, very dangerous illusion, Hell's Firespiker, he and Samantha meet their fate. In heaven, God takes a liking to Eli and makes him one of his proteges. Fast forward to the beginning of our story. It is when Eli comes down from heaven to make his fiery and thunderous magical appearance. In the song, Eli's Comin', Kendra gets her introduction. Of course, he is seen as an antagonist, but as the story progresses, he becomes more of a contrarian. He enjoys telling silly jokes, somewhat like Morgan Freeman in Bruce Almighty or your sometimes grumpy, crass, yet humorous grandpa. In the song Mama Told Me Not to Come, against Mama's advice, Eli decides to make a visit to the theater. He gets annoyed at Kendra for her constant complaining and leads the angels in the song, Sure as I'm Sittin' Here, in a fun-filled routine with everyone singing and tap dancing while sitting on toilets. During the song, Eli places a satin sheet over Kendra, and when he sings to her, So quit your complaining, soon enough you will be gone, he pulls the sheet away and Kendra has vanished from her toilet. Toward the end of our story, Eli's actual godness emerges to help Kendra find her everlasting love by singing, Try a Little Tenderness, by getting her and Jeremiah all twisted up in a funny new illusion. Eli and Lady Samantha make amends and make their happy and joyous way back to heaven while singing, Best Is Yet to Come. Jeremiah is Samantha's magical assistant and very best friend. When an illusion he designed failed, and Samantha and Eli died, Jeremiah was blamed for their death and was changed into a bullfrog. In our story, he starts off as Lady Samantha's sidekick, but as the story progresses, his affection for Kendra becomes apparent when he sings, Somebody's Baby in One. He transitions into our co-protagonist, and at the end of the story he gets a kiss from Kendra. Something fun and magical happens to them both, but not what you expect. Flora is Jeremiah's sister. She loves performing her flower magic tricks in the Lady Samtini's magic show. Because she helped with the Hell's Firespiker illusion that caused Samantha's death, Eli changed her into a Spanish-speaking butterfly. She is a drone that looks like a butterfly and at times during the show flies out into the audience to capture and project their reactions to the magic. There are 20 angelic magicians who are the singers and dancers who round out the cast. Each cast member represents a deceased magician as portrayed on the posters lining the theater. When they make their first appearance, each are dressed in their traditional magic attire. During the song Joy to the World, they perform a simple magic trick. The history on each magician will be described in the playbill.
So hopefully you have a good idea of the characters, their description, and how they fit within the general story. Now, there is a 7-minute storytelling where my friend tells the actual story from...
Once upon a time there was a magnificent theater, the Magistique Theater. Some would say it was a magical theater, and rightfully so, because world-class magicians would travel there to perform their most amazing feats of prestidigitation, like Houdini, Thurston, Blackstone Sr. and Blackstone Jr. and Doug Henning, to name just a few. The theater has been passed down through a generation of magic-friendly enthusiasts. Samantha, the current owner, inherited the Magistique Theater from her grandfather. She was a remarkable magician in her own right and enjoyed performing in her theater every night as Lady Samtini. Jeremiah was Samantha's trusted magic assistant and her very best friend. Jeremiah's sister, Flora, lives up to her name by performing some amazing flower magic tricks in Lady Samtini's show. After every performance, the three would celebrate by drinking Jeremiah's wine made from his secret recipe. One day, a young rising star in the magic world, Eli, better known as the Amazing Elyon, walked into the theater and auditioned before Samantha. Impressed, she booked him for a week-long engagement. He was a hit. Samantha asked him to stay on for another week. And then another week. And then another and another, until Eli was a regular performer. Eli soon teamed up with Samantha, Flora and Jeremiah to create a wonderful magic show that was a delight for audiences of all ages. They packed Samantha's theater every night. Throughout their relationship, Eli and Samantha experienced every human emotion and eventually fell in love. During the performance of Jeremiah's newly designed and extremely dangerous illusion, Hell's Firespiker, something goes terribly wrong and Eli and Samantha meet their tragic end. Once in heaven, God takes a liking to Eli and makes him one of his proteges. God has proteges? Go figure. Eli, unsure as to why, decides to play along and learns a great deal from the Almighty. However, still angry over his untimely demise, he finds it hard to fit in. His constant joking around does not sit well with many of the heavenly creatures, and his evolving God complex ultimately angers most of heaven's angels. Eli's mother, Mama, also a resident angel, is proud of her son's relationship with God and therefore tends to be overly protective. Most of the angels would even say that Eli is a mama's boy. One late evening, against Mama's warnings, Eli decides to attempt an intimate hookup with Samantha, a definite heaven no-no. And as we all know, God sees all and hears all. He decides to send Samantha back to the Magistique Theater as Lady Samantha, the Angel of Joy. And after a scolding, Eli stays in heaven as God's protege. Because Eli blamed the failure of the Hell's Firespiker illusion on Jeremiah and Flora, he turns her into a Spanish-speaking butterfly and him into a rhyming bullfrog to live the rest of their lives in the confines of the theater. At times, Lady Samantha will travel from her grave to seek solace in her abandoned theater where she and Eli first met. It is a time she can be with Flora and Jeremiah to drink wine, laugh and tell stories of the past. It is there she invades the dreams of troubled lovers to bring them into her domain for a lesson in joy, hope and love. Sometimes Eli will show up, unannounced, to her dismay, only to create conflict and chaos to disrupt Lady Samantha's transformational endeavors. He, having issues with his emotional past and still reeling from a broken heart, and she, just wanting him to stay with her, becomes our backstory. Which leads us to Kendra, a 30-something, who is excited about her upcoming singing gig at the Celebrity Ball, a fundraiser for the preservation of the Magistique Theater, Samantha's theater. 2 hours before her performance, she finds herself in an argument with her boyfriend, Zach, which results in their breakup. Exhausted, she falls asleep but soon finds herself being led into a dream by Jeremiah, the frog, and Flora, the butterfly, that places her in the old, dilapidated, musty-smelling Magistique Theater. It now becomes Lady Samantha's job as the Angel of Joy to help Kendra find her true self and bring her back to what is most important in life, love. Suddenly, Eli makes his presence known in a flash of smoke, sparks, fire, and a rumbling theater. In the beginning, his involvement in Kendra's transformation is more about creating chaos and conflict than helping Lady Samantha. But he is always ready for some comedic relief, telling jokes from his god-awful joke book. Lady Samantha is in command of 20 magical angels who, through the songs they sing, the dances they dance and magic they perform, create the needed changes for Kendra to see that her true love, Jeremiah, was standing next to her the entire time. When Eli sings the song, Try a Little Tenderness, he places Kendra and Jeremiah in a double twister illusion. He cranks and cranks the contraption to the point they are twisted all up. When the song ends, they emerge from the illusion, with Jeremiah wearing Kendra's funky dress and her sexy legs, and Kendra now has Jeremiah's frog legs. After they have a good laugh over their current physical predicament, Kendra looks into Jeremiah's eyes and says, "I've kissed quite a few frogs in my life, believe you me, all in hopes of finding my fairy tale prince." Jeremiah, looking surprised by her comment, "A prince? Look at me. I'm an ugly frog and you are beautiful. I feel like I'm in a stage production of Beauty and the Beast." Of course, Eli has to add his 2 cents and shouts from his throne. You do know in that story the beast was stuck in that castle to live as a beast forever, until he was saved by the bell. After the laughter dies down, Kendra takes Jeremiah's frog hands. "You are not a beast. You are handsome." Jeremiah looks into Kendra's eyes. "I had a dream where I was ugly, then I woke up and looked in the mirror. Dreams really do come true." "Stop, Jeremiah," Kendra says lovingly. "You are a really cool looking frog." Jeremiah, a bit sad, says, "Looking cool is one thing, but smelling like one, that's a whole other thing." Ribbit, ribbit. Kendra looks into his eyes and begins to rhyme. "I'll spray you with my secret perfume, and watch as the magic of love takes bloom. I'll close my eyes, lean in for a kiss. Please, Jeremiah, make sure I don't miss." When Kendra gives Jeremiah an affectionate kiss, through the smoke and fog we expect Jeremiah to emerge as a handsome prince. Nope, it's Kendra who has magically turns into a beautiful frog. As frogs, Kendra and Jeremiah lead all of the angels in singing an old-fashioned love song, which is a fun, 1920s style dance song. It's loads of fun to watch 2 frogs and a bunch of angels doing the Charleston and Black Bottom dance. In the end, Kendra, not the frog, awakes from her dream by appearing from inside her hope chest wearing a beautiful rainbow-colored dress. And by her side is Jeremiah, not the frog, dressed a green sequined tuxedo. They embrace and kiss while Eli, Samantha, and the rest sing, celebrate. As the song progresses, everyone walks onto a large platform, and when the song ends, they vanish in a poof.
Talk about the songs in the show. The very first song, and these run by scene, so the very first song, scene 1, is the prelude. This is music from the Three Dog Night London Symphony that was recorded many years ago, and it's just an absolutely beautiful song. It is the song where Lady Samantha descends from heaven and her angel wings expand and she does some really cool magic, and then the show really gets cooking with the first song, Joy to the World, and then Liar, Eli's Coming, and you can see the song list goes on and on and on. Now, one of the things in this show, which again is another unique aspect to the story itself, is halfway through, and you can see here, there's a prelude to the magic show. The theater, which is the Magistique Theater, is this old, kind of dumpy, dilapidated, musty-smelling theater. And halfway through, it makes this transformation from what it looks like to what it looked like back in the day, the magnificent Magistique Theater. And at that point, that transformation, we replicate Lady Samtini's magic act with all of the dove magic, and the Amazing Elyon does an unbelievable mentalist routine where he includes members of the audience in that process, and then finishes with the actual Hell's Firespiker illusion where Lady Samantha basically loses her life, and then Eli, trying to save her, dies of a broken heart. After that, again, the theater goes back to its old dumpy self to finish out the show. And so that's how the song sequence basically works. Of course, there's a lot of magic in this, a lot of magic, and a lot of illusions. Some old, some new, some newly designed, but a lot of magic in this show. And again, not for doing magic for the sake of doing magic, but you find that these illusions are designed in a way so that they fit within the story as well. So we're not doing, gratuitous magic just for the sake of doing magic. So let's talk finance, okay? Because that's a key element to getting this show up onto the stage. Now, I have all this stuff in Excel spreadsheets. The details are there, but I just want to roll this up quickly for this presentation. First of all, developmental costs, kind of upfront stuff, $43,000. Much of that I have already spent. Production costs, $600,000. That's the bulk of it. This is mostly the magic and the illusions. There are only a few set pieces, so there's not a lot of money going into building sets. The creative team at 118, production staff at 48. Marketing, that's low. I have to go back probably and look at that, and I probably could use a little help on making that number a little bit more realistic, so we might have to add, 30,000-40,000 onto that. Rehearsal salaries, pre-production at around 30,000, and then general administrative at 83. So production costs coming in somewhere around $970,000, give or take. And I think depending on where this show lands, I mean, if it's Broadway bound, which would be unbelievable, that $970,000 is way, 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 way on the downside. But it's pretty close to where this show could get up and running in a regional theater or possibly in a touring company as well. All right, so continue with the financials. I think it's important for me to share with you some of my estimated revenue projections and profit and loss projections as well. One thing I will say in doing these projections, I did them based on a 1,500 seat theater. This show, I would be surprised if it could run in a theater smaller than 1,200 seats. For a couple reasons. One is just because of the cost. But number two is theaters with seats of 1,200 and higher typically have a stage, wings, and etc. that is needed to put such a show on. I mean, keep in mind there are a lot of illusions that need to be placed and stored for this show to go on. So there's the revenue, and this is based on 8 performances in a week, the gross box office receipts. There are the total weekly expenses. And then I zeroed in on 80% occupancy, and you can see the net for the week at around $500,000. So I believe this show can be highly profitable. One thing I am not sharing at this point would be recoupment and a lot of the other legal aspects of investors and producers and how we get to recoupment and all that other stuff. That certainly would come later. But I just wanted at this point to give you an idea of how I believe the show can be a very profitable venture. Let me talk about what I have and what I need. Well, what I have a story and I have a book. I have the magic. I have the songs. I need the creative team. I need a director, I need a choreographer, I need a music director, I need a vocal director, I need a creative team. Up to this point, it's been me, myself, and I. So I need some more collaboration on this project. And I need a co-producer or producers, and I also need investors. I also need a theater. So if you are a regional theater, a nonprofit, a university, and you have done devised works in the past, I would love an opportunity to talk with you. I have some very interesting details that I've kind of laid out for devised theater agreements, and so I'll give you my contact information a little bit later, but that certainly is an option going forward as well. Here we are at the end. If you are intrigued by anything that I may have shared with you, please feel free to reach out to me if there's more details you'd like, or if you would like to join me in a collaborative way, or hey, if you want to co-produce with me, bring some money into the project, man, do I want to talk to you as well. So my contact information is up here that you can copy down, and hopefully we will talk very, very soon. Thanks again.